Hello, children. I know you all love playing games. You play games like football, volleyball, and even cricket. Each game is played differently. The rules of every game are different. Every game has its own story of how it began. Today, we are going to learn one such story entitled The Story of Cricket. Cricket grew out of the many stick and ball games played in England 500 years ago. The word bat is simply an old English word that means stick or club. By the 17th century, cricket had evolved enough to be recognizable as a distinct game. By the 17th century, cricket had become a very noticeable game. Distinct means noticeable. Till the middle of the 18th century, bats were roughly the same shape as hockey sticks, curving outwards at the bottom. There was a simple reason for this. Now we will know the reason why the bats in the 18th century, that is the cricket bat, looked like the hockey stick and why it had a curve at the bottom. The reason for this was that the ball was bowled underarm along the ground, and the curve at the end of the bat gave the batsman the best chance of making contact. One of the peculiarities of cricket is that peculiarities means one of the specialties of cricket is that the game can go on for 5 days and still end in a draw. No other team sport takes even half as much time to complete. A football match is usually over in an hour and a half. Even baseball completes 9 innings in less than half the time that it takes to play a limited overs match. The shortened version of cricket, played with a bat and a ball by two teams of 9 players, each on a field with 4 bases dimension, length, breadth, etc. Another curious characteristic of cricket is that the length of the pitch is specified 22 yards, but the size or the shape is not. That means only the pitch where they play the game is measured. The rest of the ground can be of any size and any shape. This applies to the game of cricket. Most other team sports, such as hockey and football, lay down the dimensions of the playing area. This means that games like football and hockey can be played only in a particular area that is marked. In cricket, the grounds can be oval or circular, like Chepak in Chennai. A six at the Melbourne Cricket Ground needs to clear much more ground than it does at Ferozshah Kotla in Delhi. There is a historical reason behind both these oddities. Oddities means strange things or odd things. Cricket was the earliest modern team sport to be codified. The first written laws of cricket were drawn up in 1744. They stated, "The principals shall choose from amongst the gentlemen present 2 umpires who shall absolutely decide the disputes." Disputes means the fights. So the charge of settling any problem in a cricket game will be the responsibility of the umpires. The stumps must be 22 inches high and the bail across them 6 inches. The ball must be between 5 and 6 ounces. Ounces is a measure, like how we have kilograms, liters, and so on. and the two sides of the stumps should be 22 yards apart. The world's first cricket club was formed in Hambledon. Hambledon is a small village in England. This cricket club was founded in the 1760s. Marylebone's Cricket Club was founded in 1787. During the 1760s and the 1770s, it became common to pitch the ball through the air rather than roll it on the ground. This change gave the bowlers options of length, deception through the air, plus increased pace. It also opened new possibilities for spin and swing. In response, batsmen had to master timing and shot selection. One immediate result or an immediate change was the replacement of the curved bat with the straight bat. You have seen now that no longer curved hockey bats are used in playing cricket. The cricket bat is a straight one. The weight of the ball was limited to 5.5 to 5 3/4 ounces, and the width of the bat was 4 inches. Width means the broadness of the bat. In 1774, the first leg before law was published. Also, during this time, a third stump became common. Also, by 1780, 3 days had become the length of a major match. And this year also saw the creation of the 6 cm cricket ball. If you look at the game's equipment, equipment means the things that are used to play this game, you can see how cricket both changed with changing times and yet fundamentally remained true to its origins in rural England. Cricket's most important tools are all made out of pre industrial material. The bat is made with leather, twine, and cork. Even till today, both bat and ball are handmade, not industrially manufactured. The material of the bat changed slightly over time. Once it was cut out of a single piece of wood, now it consists of two pieces. The blade, which is made out of the wood of the willow tree, and the handle, which is made out of cane, that became available as European colonialists and trading companies established themselves in Asia. Unlike golf and tennis, cricket has refused to remake its tools with industrial or man made materials. This means that the cricket equipment, that is the bat, the ball, the stumps, are still made out of pre industrial material. Plastic, fiberglass, and metals have been firmly rejected. But in the matter of protective equipment, cricket has been influenced by technology. That means certain things that the batsmen use for protection is a product of technology. The invention of vulcanized rubber led to the introduction of pads in 1848 and protective gloves soon after that. And the modern game would be unimaginable without helmets made out of metal. The origins of Indian cricket are to be found in Bombay, and the first Indian community to start playing the game was the small community of Zoroastrians, the Parsis. Since the Parsis were in close contact with the British as they used to have a lot of trade with them, the Parsis were the first to start the Indian Cricket Club. The Oriental Cricket Club in Bombay in 1848, Parsi clubs were funded and sponsored by Parsi businessmen like the Tatas and the Wadiyas. So, from this, we can conclude that in India, the Parsis were the ones who began the first Indian Cricket Club, and they did so because they had a lot of sponsorship from big businessmen like the Tatars and the Wadias. The white elite people offered no help to the Parsis who played the game of cricket very enthusiastically. In fact, there was a quarrel between the Bombay Gymkhana, which was a club of the whites, and between the Parsi cricketers. The quarrel was because of the use of a public park. The Parsis complained that the park was left unfit for cricket because the polo ponies of the Bombay Gymkhana dug up the surface when it became clear that the colonial authorities were in favor of their white compatriots. The Parsis built their own gymkhana to play cricket in the rivalry between the Parsis and the Bombay Gymkhana had a happy ending for these pioneers of Indian cricket. Now, here in this paragraph, it is said that the Parsis and the whites who used to train their ponies are the young ones of horses, to play the game of polo had a fight with each other. The ponies had dug up the ground with their hooves, and so the Parsis felt that this ground was not fit to play cricket. A Parsi team beat the Bombay Gymkhana at cricket in 1889, just 4 years after the foundation of the Indian National Congress in 1885, an organization that was lucky to have amongst early leaders the great Parsi statesman and intellectual Dadabhai Nauroji. So here we understand that once the Parsi team beat the Bombay Gymkhana when in 1889, just 4 years after the foundation of the Indian National Congress. You know that the Indian National Congress was an organization set up during India's struggle for freedom. Modern cricket is dominated by tests and one day internationals played between national teams. The players who become famous, who live on in the memories of cricket's public, are those who have played for their country. The players Indian fans remember even now are those who were fortunate enough to play Test cricket. C.K. Naidu, an outstanding Indian batsman of his time, lives on in the popular imagination when some of his great contemporaries like Palwankar, Vittal, and Palwankar Balu have been forgotten. Even though Naidu was past his cricketing prime when he played for India in his first test matches against England starting in 1932, his place in India's cricket history is assured because he was the country's first test captain. India entered the world of test cricket in 1932, a decade and a half before it became an independent nation. This was possible because Test cricket, from its origins in 1877, was organized as a contest between different parts of the British Empire, not sovereign nations. The first test was played between England and Australia when Australia was still a white settler colony. Similarly, the small countries of the Caribbean that together make up the West Indies team were British colonies till well after the Second World War. Here we are talking about the different teams that played cricket. Let us now move on to the third part of the topic. Television coverage changed cricket. It expanded the audience for the game by beaming cricket into small towns and villages. It also broadened cricket's social base. Children who had never previously had the chance to watch international cricket because they lived outside the big cities could now watch and learn by imitating their heroes. The technology of satellite television and the worldwide reach of multinational television companies created a global market for cricket. Matches in Sydney is in Australia, could now be watched live in Surat. Since India had the largest viewership means those who see the match for the game amongst the cricket playing nations and the largest market in the cricketing world, the game's center of gravity shifted to South Asia. So here we understand that since there were the most number of viewers from India, the center for the cricket games had now shifted to South Asia. This shift was symbolized by the shifting of the ICC headquarters from London to tax free Dubai. 150 years ago, the first Indian cricketer, the Parsis, had to struggle to find an open space to play in. Today, the global marketplace has made Indian players the best paid, most famous cricketers in the game. Men for women. The world is a stage. The transformation was made up of many smaller changes. The replacement of the gentlemanly amateur by the paid professional, the triumph of the one day game as it overshadowed Test cricket in terms of popularity, and the remarkable changes in global commerce and technology. Thank you.